Are we?
Yeah.
I can never tell.
No, we're
Because
live.
Dave always messes around.
That's what happens when you miss one show.
Good morning and welcome to Unwanted Opinions. I'm your host, Justin MacDonald, here with other host, Matt Fischer, fact checker, Jesse James. No Dave today, but we are joined by two lovely ladies, Wine with Witches, Megan and Nicole. Ladies, thanks for being here.
Special Friday the 13th episode.
Yeah.
It worked out perfectly.
It did. It's great. So we're going to be doing an on-air tarot card reading.
I'm so excited. I've never done that before.
I don't know what's so funny about that.
I was waiting for someone to ask why I was laughing. Because it makes me nervous.
Hey, oh yeah, same. Like I wanted to do it. Like last time, I think I had the opportunity to do like one. I was in New Orleans, and you know.
Here we go again.
Did I say it? Did I say it the way you like to say it?
Just continue.
He's like, say it how it needs to be said. New Orleans. You happy now?
No, you're yelling at me.
Okay, sorry.
Sounds like
But they had like they're everywhere, and it was the same thing. I was like, I'm gonna do one, and then I'm like, I'm not. I'm just kind of nervous because it was like, it has like, I think that city has like that kind of creepy vibe to it.
Yeah.
Like real creepy vibe to it.
Without a doubt.
I
got locked in a cemetery on my way out of that.
They have the creepiest cemeteries too.
Yeah, because they're all above ground.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you're below sea level, I don't think you can put bodies in the ground.
You're below sea level.
Because they'll be in the sea at that point.
Yeah.
Good call.
Good
I know.
call.
It's called math.
So you didn't actually get it done?
No. Like you said,
New
I was a little
Orleans.
nervous, and I was just like, no, I'm not going to do it. I don't need to know.
I'm not nervous to have it done. I've had, palm readings and tarot and all of that. But on air? Like, I don't want, like, just in case you get close to something,
I think they're going to get close.
Yeah, well, that's what makes me nervous.
He's just going to be sweating profusely over there.
Yeah. I think I told this story, but I was in Chicago by myself doing Pokemon Go. The summer Pokemon Go came out. And I stumbled across like a sandwich board sign that said, palm readings or tarot card readings, second story. And I was like, all right, dope. I mean, I'm not doing anything else. Like, let me go. And I go upstairs and I'm like, what the heck? Knock on the door. The little slit opens up and I hear like ding, 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 ding. Like, see little like faint lights.
We've been expecting you.
Yeah, and music. And I was like, I'm here for tarot reading. Thing shuts, door opens, and it's a straight up like legit speakeasy. Like very small slots going. Like one small bartender with like a small bar cart.
So there was no palm reading?
No, or just like, I have no idea. Maybe I just went to the wrong door. I have no idea. But that's how I stumbled upon like an actual speakeasy in Chicago. And I couldn't get you there again if I tried. I have no idea where I was.
Well, they move frequently.
I guess. I don't know. But, so that was the last time I probably tried. Now, Jenny and I were in St. Augustine, and I was like, oh, baby, you should do this, And she was like, I don't know. I'm like, yeah, come on. So she gets it done, and she goes, before the lady comes back out, she goes, can you just be up here with me? And I'm like, no. And she's like, just come up here with me. So I'm like, all right. I go up there, and the lady comes out, and she's like, why are you here? And I didn't want to like throw my wife under the bus.
Is your
and,
energy?
like, yeah, and be like, hey, she asked me to come up here. And I was like, oh, I can, because to me, I was like, cool, this is my out. Right? I was like, oh, I can go somewhere else if you want. She's like, no, if you have to be here, fine. Just don't get in her aura. I'm like,
oh, wow.
Whatever. So she starts reading her cards, and she's like staring at me, and she's like telling my wife, like, it's funny because she was kind of close to what she was talking
This
about.
story is building so much anticipation for the reading later, because I'm like, yeah.
So she starts.
I'm waiting for it.
Yeah. So you guys have to confirm if the aura thing is
We can feel it.
We got to be concerned about.
You have a big sweaty aura right now.
So she's like, I could see that you want to get a job, but he won't let you. She's like, I was like, what's funny is, I was like, we were in that moment, like, yo, you need to get a job, like, like it's time, like.
Time to re-enter the workforce.
Right. So everything she was saying was like kind of opposite. And
Were you
like,
feeding her 20s under the table?
Right.
Like, here you go.
No. This lady was very upset with me because she was like, oh, you're not allowing her to do, the things that she wants to do. But basically, I was like, oh, you took the fact that you thought that I wanted to come up here and be here
as like controlling.
As like, yeah, and then obviously she had some stuff to get through in life, because then she just started spouting off a bunch of stuff that was like, clearly she had gone through some trauma, and it was like her voice was shaking while she was talking to me, like, you got to this, and it's just way, way, way off.
It's probably your face.
I think a lot of it comes down to that.
Yeah.
It's a very aggressive face at times.
I'm sorry about my face. It's the one I'm stuck with. But yeah, that was our last experience.
I like believing that stuff like when it's beneficial to me, because I'm like, absolutely 100%. You read that good horoscope and you're like, nailed it.
Yeah.
And then you read that bad one and you're just like, that like really is, it's not bad. It might just be like true to you, like what you know inside, and you're just like, nah, this is like, I'm not gonna choose to believe this, because it's like uncomfortable, and like, you know,
that's what always cracks me up is the people that are like, they take like the 95% that's good, and they'll take the one thing that's like really not that bad, like and I'm sassy, like like, all right, come on, you got to take a little more than negative.
I've had to level with myself, and it's like the ones where I'm like, yeah, this is bogus, and I'm like, but maybe there is some truth down into this one, and I'm just like trying to like write it off just so I don't have to confront that.
Have you guys ever done the Enneagram? Where you like find out what number you are?
No.
Not Enneagram.
Not like what? Hold on, you get what?
It's called Enneagram, and you find out what number you are. You like take a questionnaire. It's not like a horoscope, but people kind of use it as such.
So what do you do with your number?
It's more like a personality test. It's not more like
the ENTJs and the ABCs.
Kind of, but less. Like less lettery than that.
Okay.
More numbery.
Yeah, like it's the letters they keep adding more.
Well, you know, they're like, oh, you're a 2, aren't you? Or you're an 8, or you're a 1. Well, I happen to be an 8, which is like...
That makes sense. That checks out.
What's funny is if you do anything about Enneagrams, some people are like, oh, that makes all the sense in the world for you, because it's like a super controlling type person.
Yeah, that's what I said. That checks out.
You didn't know that.
What's the highest number you can get?
I don't think it
works
it's
like
a
that.
scoring contest like that. I think maybe it goes up to 9. I don't know. Yeah. But... What is it?
How do you win?
Yeah.
What's the good numbers?
But yeah, so people will find out, and they'll, you know, if it comes up in conversation, I'll go, yeah, I'm an 8, and they're like, no way, you're an 8. Like, well, I'm a healthy 8, because I definitely have the tendencies of, you know, the negative tendencies of some of this stuff, but I try to.
That's the 8 in you thinking that you're a healthy 8. That's all I'm gonna say right now. Is that's just the inherent.
You figured
8
it
of
out.
you. I have. I don't even know what number I am, but I'll be doing an online
You're a
test later.
strong 2.
No, definitely not a 2.
No?
2s are like super compassionate and like put other people first.
Not me.
Yeah.
12.
Like,
I have
2
my moments of compassion.
Do you?
They're
He has
infrequent.
moments of compassion for himself. Like,
Fair.
I feel
It's
very
okay, Matt.
compassionate.
You can let this go.
Hey, good job on the black tees this morning, guys.
Yeah. Well,
Mine's charcoal.
so it's Friday the
Okay.
13th, and it's the art heist. So it's like double duty outfit, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like you just wear black, and then you go steal some paintings.
So not only is it the art heist, but it's Spookala, I guess.
Oh, it
too?
is Spookala
Yeah.
this weekend.
Yep.
See,
So-
it's all around.
I don't know. Is Spookala? I'm gonna look back because maybe you guys know. Is Spookala like a horror con type thing?
Yes.
Very cool. So do you guys know where it's at? I'm looking at you as if you guys know, and I'm hoping that you do.
We're going to be there.
Hey,
We'll be there all weekend
it's
at the World Equestrian Center.
I didn't know that. Yeah. So Wine with Witches will be at Spookala all weekend at the World Equestrian Center. Have you guys been there for a like anything yet for like one of the expo
I
halls?
think you would go. I've gone a couple times for some events, but
So food there is amazing. They have a couple of different restaurants, but the expo hall, I just can't say it enough.
It's nice.
How stinking exciting it is to have such a huge venue for Ocala. One of the things that bugged me years ago is we didn't approve the Yankees training stadium being here. And I'm not getting into the particulars. I can understand both sides of why.
Yeah.
But really, we needed a space like that, and I was really excited for that. And now that we have World Equestrian Center,
Oh, yeah.
and you know, such a huge event space, as well as you know the whole stadium area.
Not throwing any shade on any hotel, but like when those conventions would happen, it was just like even back then, like the space was to a maximum. You know, like everything in like hallways, multiple rooms. You know, and it just was like nothing fit everything.
Right.
So like now it's like that big room, and it's just like good luck trying to fill that up. Like it has plenty of room to grow.
And I like the fact that WEC is open to different things.
Right.
'Cause
Didn't they have the
easily-
anime festival there too?
I believe so.
Yeah, it's just like all of a sudden like we have now all these festivals or
Did you go to
conventions.
that?
I didn't. It was like one of those times like everything. It's like there's a million things going on. Literally hard to keep track sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, I rue the day that I was like, oh, I wish there's more going on. I'm like, hey, guys, spread it out some, please.
I want less things to go on. Just more spread out.
No, it is great. Having options is something that, it's funny to me. And we talk about it all the time, but when people come back to Ocala, they've been gone for a while. They come back and they're like, what happened?
Yeah.
Like, well, a lot of people put a lot of work in.
Oh, yeah. I was talking to my neighbor and like, we were just talking, and we were actually talking about my daughter. And I was like, yeah, we're starting to take her out. We went to all these events. And he's like, those sound amazing. He's like, you need to start messaging me about these events. And I'm like, dude, you're on Facebook. Just start, just go to the events tab and then just hit interested. You don't even have to go. But like, it just curates more and more and more and more and more.
And accept random friend requests because they're going to do stuff too.
I don't know if that's true or not.
I don't.
I got a couple of randoms in my like queue right now.
Oh, you're back to keeping them queued up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's also like you can't. I don't know. Sometimes I see it's like y'all have. You're like, oh, they're mutual friends with
Who's
you
y'all?
guys. Y'all.
No.
Both of y'all.
If they're on my friends list,
They're
know
vetted.
them. Yeah.
Are you sure?
That's how.
Then why you get mad at me? Because you're like, oh, I'm
Because I
accepting.
used to use you as my barometer. I'm like, oh well, Matt's friends with him. Like, oh, he must know him. And then I ask him, you're like, I don't know that person. Like, well, why'd you accept? Like,
It's in a moment of compassion. In a brief, fleeting moment of compassion, I'm like, I'll accept your friend
Dave and
request.
Jesse told you needed to get better at social media, and you thought that means just add every person there.
I'm learning. That's part of the getting better. Is then you go, crap, man, this person's a scam.
I do every other person.
Every other person?
Yeah.
I went through recently and I accepted some that had been sitting in there for a minute too. And they're like legit people. They're not like scam people. I'm like, oh, I didn't mean to
Were
leave
you
you in there for
drinking?
57 weeks.
Were you drinking?
Yes.
Because that's what happens for me too.
Another moment of compassion.
Yeah.
I think it was just like tired of being like, because it's like, just rip the Band-Aid off. Yes.
Yeah, that's what happens for me too.
And then a lot of times it's like, hide.
Yeah. Yes.
I only want funny stuff in my feed.
It doesn't even.
I want to stay in my
Man,
ignorant bubble.
I got hit with one last night. I'm trying to go to bed.
Uh-oh.
I'm on like 3 weeks of like either nightmares or bad dreams every single night, right?
Typical 8.
Yeah, I know.
We're about to clear that up.
So-
We're going to exercise some demons.
So I've been really
Y'all
good
do
at-
exorcisms, right?
I heard that you guys are really interested in talking about demons.
For a fee, okay. We'll learn. We'll figure it out.
So I've been like really careful about what I'm ingesting mentally before I go to bed because I'm like, man, I'm tired of this, So something comes up and I click the notification and then I see, it goes to Facebook and then I see a post and it's someone talking about foster care. I'm not going to talk too much about it right now because I can't. But I read this. You talked about, only funny. And I'm like, I like seeing this person's stuff. And, she's often very funny, but she told a very not funny, very compassionate story last night. I'm like,
Right before bed.
like check my phone. Like, why? I've been so good about this.
So what was your nightmare last night?
Funny enough, no nightmare, no bad dream.
Huh.
So I'm like, maybe I need a little cry. Good cry before bed every night to help out. I don't know, but yeah.
Is it helping?
Well, last night it helped.
Okay, there you
Yeah.
go.
Justin, he's going to start falling asleep to This Is Us.
Yeah. I don't know. That show's stupid.
Oh, wow, okay.
It's stupid. You shouldn't the goal shouldn't be to make someone cry every episode. I'm not watching it because I know what's going to happen.
I feel like there was like a whole string of movies in the 90s that were specifically to make people cry, like Homeward Bound and like All Dogs Go to Heaven.
My Girl.
Yeah.
My girl's my go-to cry.
Oh my gosh.
Homeward
Like,
Bound
what?
was amazing.
Do we have movies like that now that are like...
That make you cry?
No. I feel like there's like that stint in the 90s where like that was the goal of every movie. Like, it just...
You were just a kid watching kid movies that make you cry. If you watch kid movies that make you cry now, they're still out there. Onward? You ever seen Onward?
I did see Onward.
You didn't cry at Onward?
No.
Onward.
Onward.
What was that?
It was CGI, like all movies are now, but it was like Dungeons and Dragons one.
Yeah, it's like two little monsters.
It was awesome.
that
I
don't have a
haven't
dad.
seen it.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
one.
I'm also like I did watch that one, but I'm like trying not to watch all of like the newer Disney and like DreamWorks movies just because I do have a young daughter and I know they're going to be on repeat. So I'd rather watch them like have them be fresh for when that time comes. That way I'm not like
It's not
wearing
gonna
them all
matter.
out.
It's not going to matter.
Because once it gets on like the 18,000th play, it's just like,
not gonna matter. It's not going to matter.
yeah,
And you never know what they're actually going to gravitate toward.
that's a good point.
Like, my kids actually don't like a lot of Disney movies right now. They like Spidey and Friends. Like, they'll watch that on repeat.
Huh.
Yeah. Like, it's not, or, I mean, if you leave it up to Theo, he's going to be watching the most
Like, is it
weird
cake?
stuff ever. Yeah. No, they don't watch Is It Cake.
Speaking of which, I watched, it was earlier this week, and I put it on, and I watched only like one episode, and it was short. But that Japanese show that's on Netflix now, where they take toddlers, it's the weirdest premise. They take toddlers, and the parents send them off to do tasks, like in the city, and it's like the I don't know how someone thought of this.
Yeah. Now
Hold
I'm
on.
interested.
Yeah, and so like they have a whole, so they're safe because there's like a whole camera crew following them. But like the mother would be like, okay, here's your list. You need to go down to the store and you need to buy like rice or something.
What's
like
a
that.
toddler to you?
Like a 2-year-old. Like they can walk. Like they can barely talk, but they can walk. And they just like, one of the kids had like squeaky shoes, so he's ready to go, and it was like the cutest thing. But like they send him off, and like he gets like a block away, and he just immediately gets distracted by a stick, and then he's just like wandering on with a stick. But it's just them following following toddlers around, and they just send him off on the most mundane tasks, and seeing if they can complete it.
That sounds amazing.
It is. It was one of those things. I was just like, oh, I can't remember what it's called, but I started watching. And I'm like, this is great. Also, leave it up to the Japanese to have the just most interesting show concepts.
So I try not to give too much unsolicited parent advice, but I will say I think kids are more capable than most parents probably really give them credit for. I remember, I have a little bit of a wild one, right? I had 2 wild ones, but one
Yeah, that
still
checks
left.
out.
And she likes to make messes, right? And someone said early on, and I think they just said it in passing, they said, if she can make the mess, she can clean the mess up. And I was like, you know what? You're right. So when she makes a mess, she gets, if it's like real bad, and it's like she gets the magic eraser, like nope, you got to clean it up. Like if you're going to make these decisions, you're going to deal with the consequences. And or like for me, I like camping and hiking and all of that, and I don't want to stop that.
Yeah.
Because I have, like, some people are like, I got kids, so I haven't hiked in 10 years. Like, well, take your kids hiking, you know? And so...
Make them carry the bags.
Right. So...
The eggs.
Right. It freaks people out sometimes because I'll post a video. And, like, I obviously do it, like, with the intent to kind of freak people out because we'll be hiking near an edge. No, we're nowhere near it, but it probably looks like it. But they're like, "Oh no, why would you let Charlotte up there?"
Like, where's her leash? I don't see her leash.
What are you doing? And it's like she's very, very capable because we go over this all of the time. Like, I don't know. I think that kids are more capable than most adults and or parents like give them credit for.
Let me ask you this, since I'm like a very new parent. At what point, or am I qualified now to start giving unsolicited parenting advice?
Well, I mean, you can
Like,
start
is there like a
before
rule
you have
book?
kids.
You can?
Right,
Okay.
yeah. That's what a lot of
And
people
I'm just
that
like
talk to
waiting
me
for like
that
here's
don't
someone
have
talking like
kids.
we're expecting, and I just want to chime in and be like, yeah, what you're gonna want to do is
Yeah, you don't
and
even
just
have
like
to
I
have
like
kids.
I'm totally like
I do
not
it
even
all the time.
qualified.
According to my experience, no kids
Just start giving the
necessary.
unsolicited advice. Like, yeah, we got so much of it when
Yeah.
we were expecting.
Yeah, I think, I just, it used to bug me, but then it was just like, I didn't even care at all. Someone
Yeah.
started giving advice. Unless they're like cornering me. Someone, I remember one time.
I would be very upset if someone had me cornered over parenting advice.
Well, I mean, just like you're at a party or something,
They got their hand on the wall and they're just
Right.
like up against you, and they're like,
Yeah.
"So what you're gonna want to do is in the 4th trimester."
Cornering. Did you say the 4th trimester?
Yeah,
Like-
the first 3 months of them when they're born.
Gotcha.
God, get with it. Haven't you read a
like-
modern baby book?
So sorry.
I saw that as a
Jeez.
fraction.
Yeah.
I was like,
what
no,
it is.
I did have someone.
You guys don't know that? What kind of? Are you even a parent?
no.
Right.
Oh.
I had someone that when my kid
know
was
you're not.
like
Well,
less
not
than
that you
2,
know.
she had a pacifier in her mouth, and this lady was like, "Oh no. At 6 months, we had to pull. You pull those out. That's unacceptable. Blah 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 blah."
I wish
was
mine
like-
would take a pacifier.
And I was like, "Oh, okay, dope. And your kid's a surgeon?" She's like, no. And I was like, oh, astronaut. They're an astronaut. She's like, no. And I was like, okay, I don't care. Like, I'm going to be, like, you're not letting this go, so I'm just going to be as equally as rude to you. Like, unless your kids, you know, some
They're a
kind of
Winn-Dixie
crazy...
bagger.
Right. What's wrong with that?
Nothing. All jobs matter.
Anyway, if you're not, you know, if your kid's not elevated to that level, I don't care, right? That's just my personal opinion.
Would you take that advice if their child was an astronaut?
This is his unsolicited parenting advice. That
No, it wasn't my unsolicited parenting advice. I'm open to, you know, suggestion or advice anyway, but then you got to drop it. Like, if I'm like, okay. But if you're, like, also attacking my parenting style in that moment, like, that's... Like,
I've gotten some good advice, and I think it comes, like, it's who it comes from, because, like, we've gotten some really good advice where people are like, oh, hey, you just try this, you know, and then there's the ones where, like, what you need to be doing is, and I think it comes from, like, the standpoint of, like, if they're like, you need to do this or you can't do that, versus of, like, hey, this worked for us.
Yeah.
You know, and then, like, we try it, and it's like, oh, man, that's
Yeah,
great. I'm glad they said something.
This worked for us, try this out, you know, that kind of stuff.
Because there's some weird stuff out there where you're like, never would have thought of it, and then you're like, by golly.
Yeah.
By golly.
Rub some basil leaves on their feet and put a sock on. Like,
I thought it was sliced
what a
onion.
stoner. Yeah.
Craft.
Have you heard the onion one? I've heard the onion one where they're like, you put like sliced onion in there, and then they're like, and look how dark it is, and it's absorbing all of the impurities from their body.
No, that's the little foot pads.
All it did was make my feet stink.
Speaking of which, when I was in New Orleans, I wore my...
You can say it in Arlen.
I wore my...
Your onion socks?
No, what are those things called?
It's very brave of you, considering.
Onion boy. What are the... Heelys. I wore my Heelys, right?
I don't think it's somehow. Is that
Weird
Yeah, that's
segue.
not better. It's not better.
But I wore them because my boots were stolen.
My boots were stolen.
So I had to resort to my heels.
I just like that he had his Heelys also
as the
packed.
backup.
It's just like just in case his boots were stolen, he had his Heelys on backup. That's what doesn't make sense to me. I mean, it's like a whole shoe that fits a whole wheel, so it's not like it's compact. It's not like a pair of Converse like low tops. You know, it's like a whole.
I wonder if he walked around in his boots before they were stolen and was like, man, I wish these had wheels.
I tell you what, though, I've never. I don't regret his Heeley purchase just for watching him eat it at the end of a slope in a Chicago winter at a train station. Hit some black ice in his Heelys and he got laid out. I'm like legs up on the back, like arched back, trying to catch his breath.
That was definitely...
Oh, dude, I felt so bad then.
I hate that was such a minor part of this story that I didn't even need to say.
Yeah.
But I was just going to... If you wear Heelys too long, that little plastic part, you know, it hurts your foot, right? And so I was in them for way too long, so I stopped to this, like, you know, Asian medicine foot massage place in New Orleans.
You were trying to get some Tiger Balm?
Yeah, and they were like, hey, you have foot issues? And I'm like, yeah, foot issues. I'm wearing Heelys for, 28 hours or however long it's been. And so I was like, well, I got another 500 miles to ride back. I better, like...
On your Heelys?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Better get a foot massage now. Well, I don't know if they just saw me coming from a mile away and I was like some secret,
Yeah, I'm sure they had you pegged,
camera
dude.
show or what. But this guy, I sit down and I'm like right out in the, like, on the street basically. I'm on the, whatever the sidewalk thing. And this guy starts like yanking on my foot and then smacking the daylights out of it. And I'm like, what is going on
You
here?
liked it, though.
No, don't be weird.
You liked it, though.
I liked it. Jenny, no. It's just like,
Smack that foot.
yeah. Please don't smack that foot.
I can't wait for that to be a gift later.
Anyway, that was my
sure.
Yeah.
New Orleans experience when I'm trying to leave that town.
How do you pronounce it?
New Orleans.
That's what I said.
No, you use every word. You make every letter a syllable when you say New Orleans.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Speaking doesn't come
how
easy
do
to
you
everyone,
say, like,
Justin.
someone is lean. Do you call them Leanne? Oh,
Lean.
you look very lean today. Yeah, you got nothing to say.
No, I
You're
don't got
"Oh,
anything to
crap,
say."
he's right.
I do say
Right. Yeah.
I feel very called out right now.
All right. We got like 5
Jenny
minutes
heard her name.
forward.
She just hopped on.
Uh-oh.
You might want to rewind it about a minute.
Don't smack my feet, please, Jenny.
She put foot emojis.
Yeah. This is a year for art. Leslie, we got to get Leslie back on here to give us an update.
Yes.
But art is at like a huge high right now, which is, I guess, kind of like somewhat typical for inflationary periods. So I guess it hedges pretty well against inflation, typically speaking. So 2017, I got this written down. Basquiat.
Basquatch.
How do you say it?
Basquatch.
Yeah. Basquatch. Broke the art record sold for, which I'm
my God.
I'm a Basquiat owner. But he broke the art world
One
record.
132nd.
Yeah. That's less than that.
Yeah. 164,000.
Yeah. But anyway,
A piece is a piece.
He broke the record in 2017, or his artwork broke the record at $110 million. In 4 minutes, on the auction block before it was sold, Warhol's shot sage blue Marilyn, which you could probably guess what it looks like, Marilyn Monroe in the Warhol style, shattered that record at $195 million.
Jeez.
Insane. So art world's big up right now. 2022 is supposed to be a big year for it. I got a bunch of other little notes here, but I mean, really, that's just kind of a huge thing.
I didn't get into it, but it was on the topic of art. Like I literally just saw it this morning, so I didn't really get to read much on it. But there's apparently a missing, because it was in quotes on the thing, a missing Picasso that just showed up on Imelda Marcos' wall after her son wins his presidential race, and they're like in the Philippines, and supposedly like they've been accused of or in trouble before of like seizing some stuff and like illegally and stuff like that. And so I guess this Picasso hasn't been around, and now like they're showing the shot and they're in this room and there it is on the back wall.
That's a Picasso, yeah.
Yeah, that was like potentially illegally required, but I don't think these people are ones that are very
potentially
very
we're concerned
by the
about,
books.
Yeah.
But I always like love hearing about when art like just disappears and then resurfaces. Favorites being when it shows up on Antiques Roadshow.
Leslie said $195 million was the second highest price paid at auction behind a Da Vinci.
Jeez.
Yeah. A Da Vinci would be pretty dope.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Absolutely.
Just a little drawing.
Little drawing?
Just a little drawing. Yeah, crazy stuff. Just because we have talked about it before, I do own a piece of artwork, Basquiat, and it actually, where my investment account is like way down.
Your art account is up.
My art account is up 49%. What is that? IRR or whatever?
Oh, don't ask me. I'm not the one.
IRL in real life.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Anyway, it's up like 49%, which is pretty awesome. So I was like, oh.
That's your Basquatch doing well?
That's my Basquatch, yeah.
Nice.
And there's, I don't know, it's definitely a different, neat way of investing. Speaking of which, we're in a crypto winter right now.
Is that like, I just saw it like drop drastically.
It's just been dropping like crazy. And of course,
what's the reasoning?
It's all
other than
made
like we
up.
live in a
Yeah, it's all made up. I don't know. I just think there's
the dollar is next.
This isn't the first time that it's dropped. But it's just to see how everyone reacts. My biggest thing is like when the everyday man is giving advice on something of like, oh, you should buy this, you should hold on to this. I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't feel like you do a lot of research. And if you already know about this, then that means it's probably like I should probably get out. Like,
and if they are doing research, that means they're Googling it and they're on Reddit.
Yeah,
which is legitimate sources.
It's very easy to end up in an echo chamber. On Reddit, is a good example. I've been on that site for years and years and years, and you see the like. The ebb and tide of how people act there, and then what they think is normal within that forum, and then you got the real world, and you're like, oh man, gosh, I got caught up in that for a second. Like, oh, okay, yeah, this is the real.
So apparently, there's been also a lot of scams in the last couple years. White collar crime is on the rise, but crypto scams specifically, or crypto investment scams, $50 million loss in Q1 of 2021.
Yeah.
So it's just like
Is that old show notes? Because we already talked about that before?
no, we
You
never
just
actually
haven't had
fully
that?
talked. Like it was just one of those ones that like we never got to because it was like a much larger thing on like phone scams are still a thing, but then like they're like the newest one is crypt, you know, and that's kind of was a good segue because they're like, yeah, you know, everyone's used to the phone and email scams, of course. You know, they're still around, they're still work, they're still, you know, getting people for a lot of money. 400% increase specifically since 2015.
Yeah.
But then, like they're like now there's crypto, and of course people are scamming that. Like, we're going to give you Bitcoin. Give us your wallet information, you know, or whatever it is.
Yeah,
I don't know how they work. But
We actually went into detail on that in a previous episode. You may actually not have been here for that, but it's one of those things that went with NFTs too, where people are buying scammy NFTs, and it's like, yeah, you got to be careful. I know you think it's all like underground and you're doing something, but it's not. It's all tracked. You know, so just stick with the safe stuff.
But it's also, you know, it's just like, if you're not selling stuff in real life, what makes you think the NFT is going to sell in cyberspace?
Yeah.
You know, like, I think that was like a lot of people's idea.
Well,
like,
the
I'll
guy
make an
that-
NFT and I'm going to be a millionaire tomorrow.
Yeah, the guy
Like,
that
I
bought
don't
Jack
know.
Ma's initial tweet for like 2.9 million, put it up for auction, and it like they pulled it off the auction block because they didn't get past like $8,000.
Yeah.
So
They bought a tweet?
yeah, NFT of a tweet.
What?
All right,
You know, y'all deserve to lose your money.
you want to get these ladies on here and we'll do a little tarot card?
Yeah,
game?
I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm not ready.
We're ready.
All right, come on over. So
Cue
we're
the
gonna
spooky
start with
music.
you guys over there, and then after the reading, we want you to see our faces, see how scared Matt gets.
Shut up.
I'm
who's taking
projecting.
who here?
I don't know how you want to do this.
Oh my god. It's up to y'all.
I feel like JT needs your touch.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
So,
We're both Sages. It's not going to work.
oh.
You're both. Oh, okay. Oh, so you and JT are the same sign.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes, we are 10 days apart.
And what's your sign?
I'm Taurus.
Taurus. Ooh, wonderful.
Buffoon, it's right in front of you.
I didn't see it. Your hair was covering it.
It's literally right there.
Okay. Wow. Excuse me.
Okay.
I'm not known to be the most observant person.
Oh, my hat is in the way. Dang.
Well, I can move some.
Yeah, move your big head over.
I was gonna say I can take this off. That's all good.
I'm not going to tell for just a second. No. Which way do I need to move?
Your head's still in the way.
Yeah.
I
You
got
got to
big
scoot
head.
over this way, I
Yeah.
think, and you stay
We'll
where you
we'll make
are.
it work.
This way.
Yeah. That
Okay.
works.
All right.
Yeah. Perfect.
Oh, the importance of our executive producer. He's in Mexico.
Dave, we
Failed
miss you.
y'all.
You know, he keeps it running. He keeps the shots. Yeah, I know, right? It's just
Okay.
we run a real loose ship here.
So we already decided how we were gonna set this up for this one.
Awesome.
So we're gonna do a
Wait, what does that
three-card-
mean?
Well, so you can do tarot a lot of different ways. You can just pull a single card. You can do a whole spread.
Okay.
Based on different questions and things like that. What we thought was probably the most simple and concise was to do a 3-card spread. It's kind of like a past, present, future, if you will. Think of it
Gotcha.
that way, and it's a little all-encompassing and just, you know, general, since you guys are virgin.
Mark said you're going to tell me when I'm going to die, and you're going to tell me how I'm going to die. I'm like, I didn't need that, Mark.
I'm gonna have you just like shuffle those for me.
I don't know how to
because the way
shuffle.
I just like you don't have to just like you can just
got it.
hold them in your hand.
Just break
You
the
get a big
deck
one
up.
first.
Close your eyes and like put your energy in them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, for real. You gotta just
Cool.
like get yourself.
I'm gonna try one of those things.
You
Yeah,
can,
they're gonna
yeah,
go
yeah.
flying
Oh
everywhere.
God, no, I can't do it. This
They're
thick
very
deck.
little. It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
a little tiny hand.
How come yours is bigger?
I got the big boy deck. I got big hands.
It's okay.
It's what's inside the deck that counts.
It is. It's the
It's not.
motion
It's
of
not the
deck.
size.
Motion of
It's
the
not the
deck.
size of the cards.
It's the
She's got a
feeling.
big deck. I have a little deck. It's just the way it is.
It's just like that sometimes.
Hey, we get a tarot reading in the end. That's what matters.
Same on the opposite end side of that table too.
All right. So I'm gonna do that. You ready for this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna just open you up.
Are you
Nine of
ready?
Cups,
No.
the Moon,
Knight of Cups, the Moon.
Can I read them out?
Pentacles.
Sure.
8
All
of
right.
pentagrams.
Did you really just get 8 pentagrams?
He did. That
So
was
I
his
have the star,
That's
I didn't
pretty
even-
awesome.
King
I
of
haven't even said
Swords,
anything, and Justin's
and
like, I'm
6
a
of
believer.
Wands. Okay, wow.
Wait, what do you have?
Yeah. So we've got the star. This is the past card that
Okay.
we're looking at, and the King of Swords is the present, and
That sounds dope.
the Six of Wands is.
Bro, I
the
got 6
future.
wands.
So you probably are Enneagram 6 too.
So funny story that I can use the 6 wands like that. So the last time I did tarot was with Teddy Sykes. We all know Teddy Sykes. Right. He pulled the 2
Never heard
swords. And all he did that entire night, of course we were drinking, all he did the rest of the night was rap about how he had 2 swords.
2 swords.
That sounds very on brand for him.
Yeah.
So I'll start with your past card,
Sure.
Matt, and just tell you that I think this is totally appropriate, knowing you had recently, been married, had a baby. These are all like somewhat recent past, and the star is a major arcana card, so that means like a big life change, like a very significant, something happening, and it's optimism and hope. So
that sounds
that's
good.
like, I think really matches up with Matt's recent past, of course, welcoming a whole life change with the baby. And
been a big change.
all of that. Yeah, so that's accurate for sure. What was JT's past here?
So he's got Knight of Cups. So Cups is a cool suite because it has a lot of intuition and emotion attached to it.
Very emotional.
I feel like this kind of indicates that there's probably been a lot of like nervousness and anxiety in your past. like there's something that you're like either holding on to from your past, or it's just worries of the future itself. But regardless, it's like been on top of you for most of your life. The moon is really cool because it does kind of, again, it's a major arcana, which I think that's kind of cool that they both had one at least major arcana in their suites.
I'm so not surprised at this.
There's phases and changes to who you are, which is a good thing. It's a growth pattern. And so that's kind of, there's kind of learning and development that's still going on consistently in your life. Maybe you're just looking for what the next, phase is, what your continued growth is. 8 of Pentacles for the future, I really like, just because, well, number 8, of course. No, but it's kind of cool because it does kind of bring about, the Pentacles suite has a lot to do with kind of material wealth. And so it does kind of indicate this success pattern for whatever it is that you're growing from. You are in a really good place from it as you move forward. So if you've got something that's on your mind insofar as like where you want to grow and what you're wanting to do, then it does kind of indicate that you're going to be in a good place from it.
And interestingly enough, Matt has a similar present and future reading. You're right, King of Swords is awesome.
This sounds cool.
The present,
Not gonna lie.
like Swords is like your intellectual pursuits, your smartness. To be the King of Swords means like you're like the smartest guy in the room.
Dang! Hold on. You hearing this?
But in a way,
Hold on. I don't know if this cup boy over here heard that with your 2 cups.
and
Maybe you should have been the moon, because...
No, I like this. This is good. This is great.
And the 6 of Wands, like the Wands are really about like personal growth and that energy towards like the future. 6 particularly bringing out the competition, bringing out the best in you. So I think that this is like, you've had this really awesome, like hopeful experience in your recent past, and now you're like on top of the world, and it's time for you to consider like your true pursuits, your personal pursuits, and what is your like sharpest sword, and how can you like, hone that and let that help you grow and to be like the best in whatever field that may be.
This is more enlightening and like what's the word, encouraging than I expected, so thank you.
We're pretty positive.
No, I liked it. I'm like, what, that sounds good. Like, I do need to do that.
These 2, yes. I'm not a very nervous or anxiolytic person.
A what?
Anxiolytic. Like I don't deal with anxiety.
Okay, all right.
I mean, he says after 3 weeks of nightmares, right?
Yeah, and you've been bouncing your both feet the entire time.
He's like, I'm fine, everything's fine.
He slept well last night because he had a good cry before bed. Anxiety doesn't get to him. He is a rock, ladies. He is a rock. Ignore all of the physical things that will lead you to believe otherwise. These cards are liars, is what he's saying.
Okay.
I just like that you wanted to come out and you go, This one, I don't believe this one.
This bad one.
I'm
No,
not
this
saying
one's
that I don't
wrong.
believe it. I'm just saying that I have to process what it means. Am I holding on to something, right? I hold on to everything, right? I'm
He's
the world's
petty.
biggest grudge keeper.
I love that
saw
about you,
someone-
though.
Yeah.
I really can count on you to like hold a grudge and hold it well.
We were talking about, Facebook and hiding and all of that.
Yeah.
And someone came across my feed last night that literally just said like one thing like 30 years. No, how old am I? 36. So like 25 years ago, and I'm like, ugh. Hide. Probably a great
I don't have
person.
time to do
it was
with
like
that.
A beautiful family photo. Like I'm sure they've grown as a person. So yeah, there's things that I hold on to that I probably just not even addressing. Progress is important to me, right? And it should be in my mind important to everyone. I get that there are a lot of people that are good just hanging in one spot, but for me, I'm like I got to be doing something new every little while, and I have started something new that I haven't told anyone about, which I'm excited about. Private, just all like nothing, personally and professionally, I'm still very invested in TJM and all of that, but this is just something that I'm like, all right, I've started, no one really knows. I'm hoping, it's one of those things like I try not to say anything until like it comes to like fruition, because I don't want to be someone that's like constantly talking about things that they're not actually like following through with. So people are like, oh, why didn't you tell me? And I'm like, well, I just wanted to wait till it's done. Like with schooling, like I just want to wait till I was done. Then we could talk about it, but mostly, yeah. So, and the fact that it came up with the 8 after we were talking about being a Enneagram 8 is just kind of hilarious. So yeah.
Yeah.
Some interesting stuff. I really didn't know what to expect. Nicole, you and I have known each other now for, I don't know, year 2, 3,
couple
something
years.
like that. But Megan and I go pretty far back. But even still, I didn't really know what to expect. I thought, Mark joked about like, how you're gonna die and when you're gonna die.
Yeah. I sat there for a minute and I'm like, I don't know if he's kidding.
We're good, but we're not that good. We don't have the space to even like get enough reagents in the room to see that kind of vision.
Oh, wow.
So I think it's important I think manifesting is important, and the fact that you guys are encouraging with what you do to me is almost could be like considered like prayer. People are like, what, oh, don't pray for me, I don't believe in God. I'm like, whatever religion you are, if you want to pray for me, please do.
Yeah.
If you want to read for me, please do, because I think there's something important about manifesting and saying those things and doing those things. So when you have an encouraging reading, I could say you go, all right, well, I like to make fun of it like, oh yeah, that's totally me. That's all the positive things are totally me. I think that if you read something and you are doing something in your life and you can hold on to it and go, all right, cool. Just the same as if I were to pray about it. Like, oh, I'm going to pray about this because I want this to happen. I think it's really cool. I think it's a way of manifesting that, people should probably do.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if you get a reading like that and then it encourages you, you know what I'm saying? Like, You're like, oh, yeah, but let me believe in that.
Yeah. So
Even if it's a negative reading, though, like that's one thing that we talk about a lot on our podcast because we do get bad readings sometimes, and sometimes it's like I've pulled the Fool in reverse like 5 times in a row over the past couple months, and I'm just like, bro, heart, chill. Like,
So what's a Fool in reverse? Like,
it's basically like you have some kind of idea or you want to bring something to fruition, but you're nervous or you're a novice or you're still learning or you're just acting a fool and you need to like just check yourself before you wreck yourself. That's pretty much the key to the Fool in reverse, but we didn't pull any reverse cards for y'all today because that's a whole other can of worms that could be opened. But we
were they excluded from the deck?
No,
or
it's just that
just
we shuffled them all upright so that when I flipped them, they would not.
So let's say you pull a card and it's literally upside down.
That's when it's a reverse.
Meaning.
Okay, gotcha. I thought it was like an Uno reverse card where it's like an actual
I
reverse card.
Like,
Now you read
you
mine.
pull the reverse. Right. I thought I was like, oh, this one's for me. I'm in trouble.
Glad I did not get a draw for.
It's super interesting.
Oh, that's funny.
So here's a question: are you guys actually Wiccans? Are you actual witches?
So
No. Or do you don't have to answer that. You don't have to answer
the
that.
Venn diagram of like.
We don't have to answer that.
Wiccan is like a religious sect of witchcraft, but witchcraft itself is non-denominational.
Right.
So we are not denominational witches. We don't practice Wicca. We're not in like a Wiccan coven, but we just work in like more of like a green witchery, like nature based, really like connected to energies within, just the earth and stars and all that, actual physical energy that we can see and touch.
So I ask because my dad managed an organic farm for years, so I kind of grew up out there, worked there since I was 12. And my dad and I were just talking about Deborah Ann Light, who's one of his bosses that passed away a couple years ago. And she was a high priestess in the Wiccan religion. And I, as a kid, I was like, man, I thought we were Christian. Isn't this this is crazy, But she was so inviting to every, and my parents were too, to every religion out there. So we'd still have prayer before a meal. And she'd be like, well, I'll do my prayer. Does anyone want to do their, if we had any other religions, they were very respectful of that. And it was really cool for me to kind of grow up, I don't know, with that experience. And, it probably threw me off a little bit because it's a small little area in a otherwise probably very non-Wiccan.
I was going to say, I didn't have anything like that. I don't think a lot of kids do. I mean, especially back when we were growing up, though. I think now it might be more common, just because it's more to the front. I think people might be more open to it.
It's we call it out of the broom closet. There's a lot more people that are literally.
I love it.
they're literally forward facing about it. Whereas previously, it's if it was transpiring, it was behind closed doors and no one really talked about it.
Yeah,
we're a little bit more free thinking as a society now to have those conversations.
Yeah, I think that you've got to be open to everything. Even you can be steadfast in your religious beliefs or non-religious beliefs, and you can still be respectful of other people's. And
we had an episode where we had good friend Christy Rainey who did our logo on, and
great logo, by the way.
Yeah,
I love it.
She did a fantastic job.
I believe she goes to my church.
Yes, and so she's a devout Christian, and I think what was our running joke? It's Christians love us.
Yeah, Christians love us.
Why wishes Christian loves us? Yeah. It's no, we can still have those conversations about how, there's something to craft that, just like prayer, it's especially, when you involved, what is it, kitchen witches, basically that, you're putting your energy and infusing it with, your food and what you do and what you make.
That's interesting.
There's
and, spelling, spells through the house of, sweeping and cleaning and cleansing, those are all, ways to kind of,
and
bring
there's nothing
yourself back
against
to
Christianity with that. It's just the matter of you can, compare the two.
Yeah.
And, of course, you get, a way more, gods and goddesses to talk about and choose from and, witchcraft and, the sort of, you think about Asatruar and Odinism, those are all also pagan religions or pagan faiths and spiritualities that are polytheistic,
Right.
So
that polytheism was huge throughout all of history.
I mean,
I think that is polytheism.
Spirituality is polytheism.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's only a handful of monotheistic religions, and I mean they're the big three now. But
I was gonna say it's the Abrahamic religions.
Yeah.
Which, even in Christianity, you have sects Catholicism, which then went. They of course they believe in the Holy Trinity, but then you have saints as well, and it's you're still praying.
Well, I mean,
you can slice up just Southern Baptists into 5 different sects.
Yeah,
I mean, there's just so much nuance.
I live with Catholicism though, because that one to me does seem like the most I think we've all read it where they're people you describe Catholicism without saying it's Catholicism, and it sounds so insane. It's you're eating the
Sounds
figurative flesh and drinking the figurative blood, and then the all the incense and stuff like that, and the chants, and it's just that's
so
just.
I grew up in a Catholic family.
Oh, okay.
And so my husband.
Easy transition.
Yeah. No
We're
wonder you
used
had
to
a
it.
fascination with the ecclesiarchy. You just went straight into witchcraft.
There you go. No, that makes sense. I mean, that one is very much based on has much more than say Presbyterian or something like that. I think that
it is very ritualistic.
Yeah, it is. It is so ritualistic, and part of that seems pretty. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want, I didn't.
No, absolutely.
I also want you to look at your own cards.
I'm going to.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a picture of these
I'll
cards
take
too.
Here we are.
Hey.
Sorry to disappoint anyone who was looking for me to be wearing a big black witch hat. And
That's exactly.
Well, that's why I
Nicole
wore
today.
mine.
I'm the pastel witch today.
I want to point out I wore all black for this.
So, what are you guys going to be doing this week at Spookala? Weekend at Spookala?
Well, we, of course, are sponsored by the Keep Downtown, which everybody's favorite downtown bar. So we'll be there at their booth today, tomorrow, and Sunday. We're in a row, I think, with Teddy Sykes and Crawling Panther.
Yep. So we're hanging out with the Hooligans at
Nice.
Spookala this weekend, and
Awesome.
we're just really pretty much just hanging out.
So is the Keep selling meat or anything, or what's going on?
We're not allowed to sell any booze at the table, but
Gotcha.
we're just gonna be there with, just to talk with people and
There's some raffles.
raffles and stuff.
Yeah.
Nice.
That venue though is like the perfect venue to go with Spookala though. I mean,
So
like
we
especially
were
like
actually, this morning, we hope we don't we hope we don't get kicked out forever from the WEC after Spookala, because
Right.
sometimes horror conventions can get a little wild.
yeah, I've seen pictures of some. Yeah, you guys know how to party.
Yeah.
I've heard stories about like Jake Busey and yeah.
Yeah, so
So-
Mark and I were at a horror movie convention in Orlando that we met Busey.
Yeah.
Dad Busey.
Gary.
Oh,
Gary.
wow.
And it was very interesting.
Is he as crazy in
Gary's
person as he
wild.
seems?
He's a little cuckoo.
Okay.
Yeah. Mark almost nearly had an altercation with him in the bathroom because Mark was in there.
Oh,
he was
it was
like,
Gary.
Yeah.
Busey's like a maniac, and he was in the stall, and he came out, and Mark was like, I met the other guy, Gary.
Wow.
For some, in my mind, I thought it was his son, Jake Busey.
They both were there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
they were father son.
Imagine-
Bonding
terrorizers.
moment. Yeah.
Imagine getting in a fight, because there's no cameras in the bathroom. Imagine getting in a fight with Gary Busey. You both come out looking wrecked, and you're trying to explain to someone, like, I just got in a fight with Gary Busey. And everyone's going to be like,
No,
way.
you didn't.
There's
Yeah,
no
right.
way.
I don't know. I feel like that's pretty believable.
Well,
like, if you told me
yeah.
you got in a fight with Gary Busey, I'm like,
Especially
that
if
tracks.
it's Mark at a horror movie convention.
Right.
I could definitely see that.
100%.
Anyone that knows the situation's not going to catch it, for sure.
Anyone who's seen Mark downtown 3 beers in at 10 p.m. with a sword knows that this is possible.
More than possible. It's probable at that point. Yeah. Good stuff.
Well, we were planning on raffling an opportunity for someone else to have a tarot reading at some point. So
cool.
if anybody's interested in, joining in on that, and you're at Spookala, stop by.
And I think there's a little
And
goodie
some
for
wines and stuff too.
coming by the shop later, too.
Yeah, you'll be able to
The after party at the
an
Keep?
After party at the Keep.
Nice.
I know that there's a few other events downtown that are happening related to it, but we brought our friend Pose Norma, who is a goth musician, to play tonight. Not only because it's Spookala, but also Friday the 13th.
Yes.
We wanted to.
So it's a spooky night
we were
tonight.
actually talking about how this relates back to witchcraft, and something that we've talked about is how Friday the 13th used to be this goddess day, a really positive
13 actually had a lot of good connotations
Yeah.
associated
Really?
with it. And so
and those darn Christians came on.
So
and said,
I was to
"That's
say,
bad."
what was the transition from the
So-
positive to oh, this is unlucky?
So interestingly enough, 13 had, because we talk about numerology and numbers, so 13 actually has a lot of association with fertility and therefore fornication, and so the church did not like that, and so they made it to kind of have a meaning. If it's this is a bad day, there's bad things that happen, and this is not appropriate, and all this other. So over time, it's been associated with bad luck, but in reality, there's actually a lot of associations that are positive in connotation. So.
Of course, then you get your horror movies that were Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
we honor that tradition, of course, from a horror
Yeah.
I think about
perspective.
When I think about Friday the 13th, I think about someone getting hit by a car.
Yes, I'll never forget
Don't
that.
walk under a ladder.
Yeah.
No, we saw someone get hit by a car on Friday the 13th.
Wow. Okay.
They were okay. They
This
kinda,
is a literal thing.
They glanced.
You may have been
Was
there
it this
that night.
morning?
No, they glanced the hood, landed on their feet, kept going.
Wow.
It was one of those things. So
You say I might have been there for
You
that?
may have been there. This is
this was a while
12
ago.
years ago.
Probably, yeah. So do you guys, as witches, believe in luck? Is luck something in witchcraft, or is?
I feel like it goes back to the manifestation concept, at least
Okay.
from my attachment to it. I think that a lot of what you put out for energy gets received back to you from the universe. You can call it karmic or whatever, but you kind of you attract what you are mentally, putting out there and what you are physically putting out there.
We really love talismans and like little physical things that represent energies, and I brought a little bag of like chakra stones with me that just is always with me in my purse because it's like, I guess it's similar to, you know, wearing a cross or having, you know, just like a rabbit's foot for some people, you know.
I haven't either.
Which is, you know, pretty morbid.
I was going to say, I mean, I think, at least in my mind, yes, luck in the, you know, esoteric sense is out there for people, but I think it's also something that you manipulate. Like it is something that like you can bring upon yourself. You have control over. You can bring your own destiny about.
And that's, you know, I do agree with that, because I think sometimes luck is just like, hey, that's something you might have prepared for or put out into the, you know, universe, but you just don't remember what action that was that led to that. And because it's so detached, people just go, oh, lucky, you know, but in reality, it's like, oh, there could be a connection, and it's just so distant or so, you know, loose of a connection that you might not make it initially. So
yeah, I mean, just for us being here, I think that some people may say, oh, they're lucky, they're pursuing their dream of talking about their spirituality and their favorite thing, which is wine, on a podcast that they get to just.
I was going to say, we're neglecting the wine part of this, which is also a really fun part.
It is a little too early for wine. Also, there was a couple comments that were like, they're like, I'm surprised to see them up during the daylight hours. You know?
We're not vampires.
Hey, I'm not the one that said it.
We actually both worked from home remotely, so we were very surprised to like see the cars and the sun and stuff this morning.
I got the message, and you're like,
traffic. I was like, I severely underestimated this. I haven't done this in 2 years.
You said that, and I kind of thought to myself, I'm like, it's Friday morning rush hour traffic, like.
Oh yeah, no, I don't do that anymore.
It makes sense. It makes sense now, because initially I was just like, how did you not expect that?
Usually on the way to work at the Keep at like 4 p.m., 5 p.m. You know, well, that's also rush hour too, but. Yeah, so what I was going to say, back to my original thought, was that, like, we didn't start with this, obviously. Like, we had learned and had to, like, put time and energy into, like, understanding the subjects that we discuss, and I think that's important, and I think sometimes it gets lost with people that, like, they just like to talk about stuff they don't know about.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, I feel attacked, personally. Like, you didn't have to call us out so abruptly there. But I read you.
No.
Yeah. You're like, it's cool, I'll shut up now.
You guys are super smart, and I love what you do, and Unwanted Opinions is the perfect way to describe it.
Yeah, when you invited us, we were like, this is totally, like, a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I think you're absolutely right, though, to go back to what you're saying is, a lot of people, whether they call it luck or, you know, it's just funny because it crosses beliefs and religions too, because, you know, people are like, oh, I prayed for it. Like, all right, what tools are you using right now that you've been given? Mm-hmm. You know, you've got to, you know, like you said, you got to put it out there as well. You can't just say things like, you know, I see that professionally too, like, oh, must be nice. Like, yeah, and with, like, hard work and dedication, it could be nice for you, too. You know?
Yep.
So, like, oh, it must be nice to have a boat. Like, yeah, I pack my lunch every single day, and, you know, it more than covers the cost of a boat payment. Like, it's okay, and it's a crappy old boat. Like,
it gets the job done.
Right, but I'm just saying, it's one of those things that, like, you hear, those things that you hear, and it's like, well, you got to put a little effort and energy into it, you know, and it's okay if you don't want to, but you can't complain about it then. You can't go, oh, well, someone else is just lucky, or, you know, they whatever it is. So I like that concept, and it's great that you guys, you know, have that thought process.
We close all of our shows with the little tagline of you are beautiful, magical, and you have the power to manifest your destiny.
Which
Your reality.
Or your reality.
Reality.
Destiny reality. Oh my gosh, she usually says it.
Yeah.
I usually close it out.
Very similar dynamic. I really like your energy, Megan. Like you're like flying by the seat of your pants sometimes. We're like, yeah, that's my
Meanwhile,
MO.
like after
Justin and I
Exactly,
are
like right on point.
project managers.
But you know what? Like you do need that difference, though. I think to
very
have.
yin and yang.
It is. It's super yin and yang, and I mean that's
Yes.
how like I view our friendship too, and that's really where this was born out of. And I mean, you guys get it too, where it's just like sit with us at the bar, you know, at the Keep, and this is exactly the same dynamic that you're gonna get,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
And but let's just record it, and that's what we did, and that's what you guys have done, and it's just
it turns out well when there's authenticity, I think,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what conveys to people. And I think that's what audiences like, personally.
Yeah.
And I think that both wine and witchcraft are intimidating topics. And so people that are like just starting to learn about them or interested in hearing about them, I think it does take like a sort of like kind voice to introduce it. So I personally like to be that.
You know what I love about that is that I have no interest in learning about wine, and I don't have to because I show up to the Keep. This is no joke, and I'll ask Mark. First of all, I can just say someone's name, and he's like, I got you.
Yeah.
And I show up at their house, and they're like, how did you know? This is amazing.
He's a wizard. He
Right.
really
He
is.
is.
Right. Or he'll kind of narrow it down. He'll go, he'll ask me a few questions and narrow it down. And it's always a great bottle that I get to hand someone because he's just so well, versed in it. And I'm sure multiple people there are. You guys are. I'm not. And I'm like, it's just something I don't care to learn. It's willful ignorance at this point. But it's like, I don't want to get obsessed with it either, so it's like, I'll just leave it to the professionals. I already know that I have someone that I can trust and lean on. I can stop by on my way home, and it's great. So I appreciate that from that aspect of the Keep.
Yeah.
So, ladies, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, we're gonna give you another shot at that closing line.
You want me to do it?
I want Nicole to do it. I don't want to mess this up.
You are beautiful, magical, and have the power to manifest your reality.
Thanks
Ladies.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
guys. Are we still on?
Yeah, not now.
We out.
Click it again.
Good stuff.